Culture in negotiations. Do people from different culture negotiate differently? Yes, they do. Normally, people negotiate more effectively within cultures than between them. So, in other words, people from different cultures would negotiate more effectively if they know that someone from different cultures involved in the negotiations compared if they have to negotiate among themselves, among individuals within the same culture. So in cross-cultural negotiations, it is especially important for the negotiator to be high in openness regarding their personality and also their approach in negotiations, to be more open towards possibility, more open in terms of understanding the differences between the culture, between the negotiators' perceptions and understanding, and so on. So people are more likely to use certain negotiation strategies, also depend on the culture where they belong to. For example, according to the textbook, China and Qatar prefer competitive negotiation strategies, maybe different from US people. So that's the role of cultures in negotiations. So negotiators also need to be especially aware of the emotional dynamic in the cross-cultural negotiations. So we have to be aware that different cultures have their own understanding and approach towards something. So the example here, for example, is Asian culture. If the negotiators or someone in the negotiations show their anger, so as a tactic, so that the opponent will accept or will become receptive to the ideas, is actually wrong, because according to the textbook, is Asian culture, and anger is not legitimate tactics. Even though if the negotiator use anger just to intimidate the opponent or the other party, this actually will not work well, because those from East Asian culture, normally they will refuse to cooperate when the opponents or when the negotiator or when anyone from the negotiations parties show angers or upsets in the process. When we talk about gender differences in the negotiations also, there are some differences among men and women in terms of negotiations and the outcomes. So there is, however, some merits of regarding the popular stereotypes of women. We tend to say that women are more submissive, women are more cooperative, they are pleasant, they are relationship oriented. In this, when we talk about negotiations, is actually have some merits regarding there are some true perception regarding that women are more cooperative, pleasant, and relationship oriented when compared to men in the negotiations. So men are more assertive, because they value economic outcome more than women. However, these gender differences can be lessened at above organizations and individual level if given some exposure or trainings or knowledge or and other approaches. So compared to men, women tend to behave, like I mentioned, in less assertive, less self-interest, and more accommodating manners. So maybe because of these characteristics, normally people will exploit female negotiators if they, for example, if women were brought to the negotiations as a negotiator, or the opponents or the parties in the negotiations. Maybe someone will look down, will try to exploit these woman characteristics to become more aggressive, to when they mentions about their terms in the negotiations. So they and even the organization sometimes may exploit women's negotiators also by making lower salary offers to them. So that's the disadvantage sometimes, not only in terms of negotiations, in terms of working also, top managements. Normally it's very rare to find women in the top management. So there's also some discriminations and other problems regarding gender differences in the organization itself. So this actually the slide regarding the differences between men and women in terms of salary negotiations in terms of salary. So as you can see here, women's only 30% of the women will negotiate the salary after the job offer. Instead, men will negotiate 46% of men will negotiate the salary rights after a job offer being given to them. So this is how indicating how assertive, persistent men in negotiating their salaries and so on. So negotiating in the social context, there are 2 points that need to be mentioned. First one is reputation. Second one is relationship. So reputation is defined as the way other people think and talk about you or about us. That means how people think and talk about us depend on whether we show them some integrity or some trustworthy kind of reputations. So having good reputation is favorable, because this when we use this kind of good reputation in negotiations, will achieve a win-win outcome. So it is important to develop a trustworthy reputations in terms of competence and integrity, because if you become a negotiators higher in self-confidence. Those who in terms of reputations, negotiators higher in self-confidence and cognitive ability, as seen as more competent by negotiations partners. So reputations can be in terms of self-confidence, can be in terms of cognitive abilities, can be in terms of trustworthy. So under trustworthy, reputation involves self-confidence and cognitive abilities. So negotiators who have reputation in terms of self-confidence and cognitive abilities are considered as in general as a competence by the opponents or by the negotiations partners. They are also considered better able to accurately describe the situation, and they also have their own resources. So not only the reputations per se, but also this good reputation come in terms of a high perception by the negotiations partner in terms of their ability to accurately describe the situations, and they also have own resources. Own resources can be in terms of their own personality traits, their own ability to persuade others, and so on. Those who have high reputation in terms of trustworthy and so on are more credible when they make suggestion for creative solution to the impasse. Impasse means to the deadlock or to the dead end of some solution. So good reputation will be accepted. People with good reputation also will be highly accepted by the negotiations partners. And people with good reputations or have a reputation for integrity can also be more effective in negotiations. Like I mentioned, those who have high in reputations, that mean good in reputation in terms of integrity, trustworthy, self-confidence, cognitive ability, they come up with the whole package as the whole thing, including integrity, credible, ability to predict, describe situation, and so on. This actually, as in general, they become more effective in negotiations. So they are also more likely to keep their promises and present information accurately. So those who have good reputations, especially in terms of characteristics, heights, in terms of trustworthy, integrity, of course, if they are known for that, the negotiations partners will know that they will keep their promises and present informations in the accurate way. And also, because of their good reputations, others are more willing to accept their promises as part of the bargain, especially those negotiations partners or opponents will willing to accept their promises or whatever they promise during the negotiations process. Also, individuals who have higher reputations are better liked and have more friends and allies. So those who have good reputations in terms of integrity characteristics, in terms of integrity, trustworthy, and so on, of course, will be liked by others, and they will have more friends, allies than enemies. So in other words, they have more social resources to refer to get helps. So in other words, they will be more understood as have more powers in negotiations. So next is relationship. Relationship is also important when come to the negotiations. So relationship is in this context is referring to the something that we think about what best for the other party. So if someone have good relationship in terms of negotiations, they will think when they come to the negotiations or when they come to the bargaining, they will think also what best for the other party, for the opponents, for the negotiations partners. So they not only concerns about their own advantage or their own benefits, but they also think about the opponents or the other party benefits. So they want to establish the relationship as a whole, because if you have a good relationship with the opponents, with the negotiation partners, this actually will help them in the future, maybe when they have to negotiate again with the other with the same partners or with the company of these opponents of the negotiation partners. It would be easier because they have the good tracks already, because they already established the good rapport between them and also the negotiations partner. So repeated negotiations, if they have this good relationship, when they think about the other partners, when in the negotiation process, when they come to the bargaining, so maybe there will be repeated negotiations in terms of other problems. They could build on the trust. So this actually good because later the negotiations partners or the opponents will think highly regarding their bargaining, regarding them. So this indicate that's a favor of concessions today was the because of they want to establish a good relationship. That means they give favor concessions to the also to the opponents or to the negotiation partners. So this maybe in the future will be repeats. That means they also will receive the same good treatments later when they have to go into another negotiations with the same partners or with the same opponents, or maybe the same company where the opponents come in terms of organizations. Moving to the roles and functions, here when the conflicts may escalate into something that cannot be resolved, maybe there will be needs maybe the person needs others or third party to help them to solve the conflicts. Here is mentioned when individuals or group representatives reach a stalemate, that means that lot or impasse or nowhere to go, and are unable to resolve their differences through normal or direct negotiations, they may use the third party. Third party, that means a mediator, arbitrator, or a conciliator.